At 03:47 hours, Moscow time, Russia's northern sky was about to burn. For 18 months, Ukraine's security service, the SBU, had been weaving something invisible, something that would span 5 time zones and strike at the heart of Russia's most protected military assets. A map of Russia reveals 5 targets across the vast expanse. Olenya in the Arctic, Belaya in the Urals, Diaghilevo, south of Moscow, Ivanovo, Severny, to the east, and Ukrainka, near the Chinese border. 6,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. These were not random targets. These were Russia's untouchable strategic aviation bases, home to the bombers that had terrorized Ukrainian cities for 3 years, the 2 95 MS Bears, the 2 160 White Swans, the 2 22 M3 Backfires, and the rarest prize of all, the A-50 AWACS spy planes, the eyes of the Russian Air Force, worth collectively $7 billion. December 2023, 18 months before the strike. Colonel Vasyl Malyuk, head of the SBU, gathered his most trusted officers in a secured operations room deep within Kiev. What he proposed that night seemed impossible. Bases were 2,000 kilometers deep inside Russia. Ukrainian drones couldn't fly that far, but Malyuk had a different plan. They wouldn't fly the drones from Ukraine. They would smuggle them into Russia itself. What followed was the most ambitious covert operation of the war, 117 first-person view drones assembled in secret workshops, hidden inside wooden cabin structures that looked like ordinary construction huts, mounted on trucks, driven across Russian borders, positioned near 5 of Russia's most strategic air bases, and then they waited. The genius was in the simplicity. The kind Russian workers use at construction sites, mounted on trucks, unremarkable, invisible, but these cabins had a secret. Their roofs could open remotely, and inside, secured to mechanical platforms, sat sleek black racing drones, their camera lenses like predators' eyes, waiting. May 2025, 3 weeks before 0 hour. The trucks had been parked for weeks, some in civilian areas near the air bases, some in forests, some in plain sight, ignored, overlooked, forgotten. Russian security never noticed them. Why would they? They were just construction cabins. Inside each cabin, the drones sat ready, fully charged, programmed with precise coordinates, fuel tanks, radar domes, engine intakes, every target mapped down to the centimeter. Getting them into position had taken months. Forged documents, bribed border guards, networks of anti-Putin Russians who believed in Ukrainian victory, each truck making its journey separately, taking different routes, arriving at different times, never raising suspicion, never leaving a pattern. One truck approached an FSB checkpoint outside Murmansk in late April. The driver's papers were checked. The guard walked around the truck, shining his flashlight on the wooden cabin in the back. What's this? Construction equipment, building a warehouse facility up north. The guard knocked twice on the wood. Solid. He waved the truck through. 30 kilometers later, that truck parked in a clearing 4.7 kilometers from Olenya Air Base. The cabin looked like a worker's break room, some fake cigarette butts scattered around for authenticity. And then the driver disappeared. Inside that cabin, armed and waiting, sat one of the 117 drones that would change everything. May 31st, 2025, the night before execution. In the SBU command center in Kyiv, the operations room hummed with quiet tension. Screens displayed satellite feeds, weather reports, airbase layouts. Officers spoke in hushed voices. Malyuk stood at the center, eyes fixed on a countdown clock. All units reported ready status. Olenya, green. Belaya, green. Diaghilevo, green. Ivanovo, Severny, green. Ukrainka, green. Weather across all 5 zones, clear skies, excellent visibility, 18 months of planning. Dozens of operatives risking their lives deep inside enemy territory. Millions of dollars in equipment and bribes. Everything depended on the next 6 hours. One of the younger officers, a captain named Andrei who had lost his parents in a Russian missile strike, sat at his control station. He would be piloting one of the drones. His target, a Tu 160 bomber at Belaya Air Base. The same model that had destroyed his family's home. His hands were steady. He had trained for 8 months for this moment. Malyuk looked around the room at the faces of his team. If this works, he said quietly, Russia will never feel safe again. The countdown clock read 3 hours and 12 minutes. At exactly 03:47 Moscow time, the first wooden cabin roof opened with a soft mechanical whir. The drone lifted silently into the Arctic night near Olenya Air Base. Its camera feed showed the dark runway ahead. Massive Tu 95 MS bombers sat in rows, metal giants sleeping. Then another drone lifted off, and another. Across 5 time zones, 117 drones rose into the darkness, some from forests, some from abandoned lots, some from roadsides within sight of the bases. It was synchronized, precise, surgical. In Kiev, officers watched screens showing multiple drone feeds simultaneously. Hearts pounding, someone whispered a prayer. First contact in 90 seconds. The room fell silent, except for the hum of computers. Captain Andri's hands were perfectly steady on his controller. His target, the Tu-160 bomber, filled his screen. He was approaching from the rear, aiming for the engine where fuel lines ran close to the surface. 60 seconds, 40 seconds. A pilot named Oksana, whose husband flew fighters defending Ukrainian airspace, watched her target grow larger, a Tu-95 bomber. Intelligence had tracked its flight logs. It had killed at least 47 civilians in documented strikes on Kharkiv. 20 seconds, not anymore. Impact in 3, 2, 1, contact. The screens erupted in white flashes. 17 drones struck simultaneously at 03:48:23 Moscow time. Then 3 more seconds later, then 7 more. The SBU would later release footage that had never been seen in modern warfare. First-person perspective from the drones themselves as they accelerated toward their targets. A drone races toward a Tu-95 strategic bomber. The 4 massive propellers gleam in infrared. Closer, the pilot's hands steady on the controls in Kyiv, 2,000 kilometers away, targeting the fuel tank. White flash, $100 million, gone in a fireball. Across the Arctic at Olenia, a drone slams into the radar dome of an A-50 AWACS. The $330 million spy plane erupts in flames. At Diaghilevo, south of Moscow, explosions ripple across a Tu-160's wing, secondary detonations as aviation fuel ignites. At Belaya in the Urals, alarms shriek across the base. Confused guards run in all directions, searchlights sweep the sky, searching for an enemy that's already struck. At Ivanovo-Severny, fire crews scramble as a Tu-22 M3 bomber burns on the tarmac. At Ukrainka, 6,000 kilometers from Ukraine near the Chinese border, the night sky glows orange. Across 5 air bases, in 5 time zones, in 18 minutes, 41 Russian aircraft were hit. When the last drone confirmed impact, the operations room erupted. Officers hugged each other. Some collapsed in their chairs, adrenaline draining away. Captain Andri sat motionless, staring at his blank screen where the Tu-160 had been, and whispered something to his parents. Satellite imagery revealed the scope. Before and after photos showed scorch marks, debris fields, aircraft destroyed or damaged beyond repair. The total estimated value of the destroyed aircraft, $7 billion. But the real cost was something else entirely. Maybe the SBU is planning something completely different, something Russia hasn't imagined yet. And one message delivered with perfect clarity: we will reach you anywhere. Distance means nothing anymore. The web is still being woven.